everyone, welcome back to my podcast, Real Talk with Rishima. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about burnout, dealing with burnout, and then how to overcome burnout. The reason why I wanted to do this podcast episode is because I have been in a rut. I think this happens to me at least like once a month. I just get so lazy and I'm like, oh my god, I have not done anything. This is how my year's been going so far, because the last time I literally filmed a podcast episode, it was in January or February, I think. And oh my god, you guys, I was just so uninspired after that, and it just became so like it was just so embarrassing to even come back on this podcast and this platform because I haven't been on it for so long. Okay, maybe you guys can relate to this, maybe you can't, I don't know, but January always starts off super fresh, and I just have so many goals, so many things I'm looking forward to, so many things that I want to accomplish. And then as soon as January passes by, February, I'm still trying to do those goals and I kind of lose touch a little bit. And then March hits and it's just that March slump of okay, I don't even know what my goals are at this point, because there's just so much to think about and so many goals that you have, and you kind of lose track of everything that's going on. And that's basically what happened to me, is that I was too focused on getting literally anything and everything done, to the point where I just didn't even want to do a single thing because I had too many goals. I had too many things on my plate, and I was just balancing a bunch of things, and it became really hard to balance certain areas of my life. It just became hard to kind of balance everything. March was my slump month. That was the month I feel I did nothing but doom scroll on TikTok and bed rot, and just all I did was my homework and I would sleep. The first 2 months of March were rough. And mid-March, I realized I need to pick my life back up. I need to get going because there are so many things I need to accomplish, and I'm going to work through it, and I'm not going to let this rut get to me and get the best out of me. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's episode. Just kind of dealing with burnout and how to overcome it. Okay, so first and foremost, what even is burnout? In case if you guys don't know the actual definition, because I feel this phrase and this word gets thrown around so much, where oh yeah, I'm burnt out. Oh, she's burnt out. I've been burned out. What does that even mean? The literal definition of burnout. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. So for me, this meant that I was just adding too many things to my plate, and it led me to thinking that I had so many things to accomplish, where I just wanted to shut down. And that is exactly what I did for the whole month of March, or the first 2 to 3 weeks of March, or 2.5 weeks of March. The time that I'm filming this, it's April 5th, Saturday, April 5th, and it's only 5 days in April, but tell me why I literally got more stuff done in 5 days than I did in the whole month of March. You know what? That's just embarrassing, but I'm keeping it real, and I think that you guys need to know that it happens. Okay, ruts exist, stuff happens. Being burnt out is literally okay. If you're not going to be burnt out and you're not going to feel that stress and you're not going to feel that nothingness, I guess, you're not going to be grateful and you're not going to accomplish everything that you need to. Obviously you can't go at a linear speed in life. That's just not possible. And I feel everyone has their highs and lows, and when we face our lows, that's when we're most grateful for our highs, and that's when we'll accomplish more in the future. The first thing that I feel is essential when you're feeling burnt out is take that rest. Instead of, dwelling on the fact that you have to rest and you have to recharge, I think it's so important to just take a step back and actually rest and recharge. If you're feeling stressed and if you're feeling anxious, there's probably a reason, and that's because you're feeling burnt out. So if you're feeling burnt out, you're obviously not going to want to put in your all and put in all the effort, Take that sign from your body and take the rest, because not everyone gets that privilege. Maybe this isn't the best piece of advice for someone who owns their own business or has to be go all the time, but if you have the privilege, take it and take the rest that you need. Go out on walks, go out in nature, enjoy the view. Moving on. So once you have taken your rest and you've kind of recharged and you have completely shut down, you're gonna hit reset and create a reset routine. This is actually my favorite part of like coming back from a rut and like a burnout, because this just means that like I can allow myself to create a plan. And if you're anything like me, you probably love to-do lists and planning. Like I love planning stuff out. I love, creating Pinterest boards and like planning your dream outfits or wardrobes or vacation or, study routines and that routine. Like I love planning and I love kind of like organizing it out, because it makes my mind like declutter everything that I have on it, because I just have so many things like rushing through my head, and to put it down on a piece of paper and like write it down or like put images on a Pinterest board, like it helps me kind of like visualize and like actually make it come to life, if that makes sense. So half of the things of like you trying to do something is already done when you write it down or when you kind of like see it in real life, if that makes any sense. Or like, for example, my vision board and like my yearly goals, I'll like look back at them, and sometimes I'll even like add tweaks to it and like be like, oh, maybe that was a really big goal, let me like specify it a little bit, or like, kind of like deconstruct everything. That really helps too. Or there's goals on there that like, hey, that was me like 3 months ago and now it doesn't apply, or like now I just have a different goal, or like, so make those goals as well. When you do that reset routine, I think it's also really important to kind of apply them slowly. So for me, an example, one of my goals was to get active, and I was so burnt out because I was just thinking about it, and I didn't do anything. So I was like, I just like need to stop thinking and just do it for a second. It got to a point where I was just like, I was procrastinating it for so long, I just like had to do it and like actually get a membership. And then in the month of March, I got my first ever like gym membership, literally for a gym that's like 2 minutes away from my house. I don't know why I've been putting it off. Well, I would tell myself I would do it the next day, and I just never did it. So I actually got a membership and I started going to the gym very consistently. And honestly, that was the best decision ever. Like I would just get up and go, and like I romanticized it. Like I need to romanticize everything. I love romanticizing stuff. So I would create playlists. I would, title it my gym playlist. I would make a Pinterest board of like workouts I want to do and like different days I want to do. And then like a bonus was like my meal prepping and like, my protein intake and like, like healthy food ideas and like healthy snacks. So I kind of combined food and like wellness and the whole gym experience into like one category. And I feel like that really motivated me, because I would go to the gym like in the morning, and then I would start my day off because I'm like releasing dopamine and serotonin and all that, and like I'm literally having the time of my life at the gym. And then when I come back, like I just feel so much more ready for the day. Like I shower and then I get ready and then I do my homework, study, do all that, and then work on like my passion projects. And I think it just like creates a really stable routine and really helps out with that. So that was definitely something that was much needed, and I'm so glad that I did that. So yeah, that's just an example of me, like was the gym. Like that was something that I was really like procrastinating for a long time, but for you it could be something totally and completely different. And so some examples could be like, maybe you want to get back into a sport or an activity that you like to do, or like maybe you want to start your own business, or maybe you want to get better at your job or your studies or your, I don't know, like literally it could be anything that you've been kind of putting off, or like, or it could be as simple as like cleaning your room. You've just been putting it off for like the whole month and you're burnt out from that. One thing I recommend is literally search up on YouTube or like wherever, and like, I don't know if this is gonna work for everyone, but it worked for me. And it was, every time I'm feeling unmotivated to do a certain thing, I'll literally search it up on TikTok and like I'll write aesthetic after it. So like if I'm like trying to motivate myself to study, I'll go search up studying motivation aesthetic, and it's just like aesthetic books. And like, I don't know, it's so like, it's such a little thing, but it really helps me to kind of like focus. And like I just like see other people do it, and I'm just like, oh wow, like they're romanticizing this, like I can do it too, That's something that I highly recommend if you get motivated by stuff like that, because I do. Now the next thing is something that I also think is very substantial, and that is saying no or yes more often. And what I mean by this is, if you're an extremely busy and social extroverted type of person, and you're burnt out because you feel like you're doing too much and you're just like busy and you're always making plans with other people and you're not putting yourself first, I would recommend saying no more often. And if people are asking you to go see the movies and that's just like a waste of time and you have like other stuff to do and you have better things to do, don't say yes. Like literally just be like, hey, no, like I am busy, I have to do my work, or like whatever it may be, because I feel like a lot of people prioritize different things. And again, time management is very, very important, especially when it comes to preventing burnout. You need to learn how to manage your time properly and like wisely, I guess. And then if you're on the opposite side of the spectrum and you're completely introverted and you are basically just bored at home doing nothing, try to say yes more often. And like if people are asking you to go out and if people are asking you to do something with them, go ahead. Even if you think you're not going to enjoy it, you're going to have such a different experience than if you were just to bed rot and like be at home all day. And it definitely helps. So highly recommend that. And if you're like that as well and like you're like, but Rishima, I have nothing to say yes to because nobody asked me to make plans, go ahead and be that person to make plans with other people. Go text your friend that you haven't texted in a while, or like hit them up, call them, FaceTime them, or like even hang out with them in person and be like, hey, like let's go get, I don't know, a cup of coffee or like ice cream or whatever it may be. Try new desserts and try new restaurant spots. I know I do that all the time. Like if I'm bored, I'm just gonna like tell my friend and be like, hey, like let's go try this like Dubai chocolate from yada yada yada, or like I don't know, let's go to this restaurant that we saw on TikTok. Like it's as simple as that, and then we'll literally go and like eat and be fat. But yeah, I'll just like have such a fun time, and it's very refreshing, especially if you're like so drained and burned out. Like when you're with people, you're just more like energetic and you have so many other things to talk about, like it life just feels better when you're with people. The biggest piece of advice I could give is don't ever just isolate yourself and like make yourself suffer, because that's just one of the worst things you can do to yourself, is like when you're like all alone and you just kind of don't have anyone to talk to. Like that's like one of the worst feelings. And there's a difference between feeling like all alone and like feeling lonely than being alone and like being by yourself and like you're like full of solitude. So there's a difference. You kind of just have to balance it, because I'm the type of person where I love putting myself out there, I love going out, I love meeting new people, but I also like know my boundaries and I know when to stay home, and I know that like I need to get stuff done, or like I just want to work on myself. Also, if you're lacking ideas on what to do with other people because you don't know like where to go or where to hang out with other people or like what to do, on my other podcast episode, I think it was like my how to make the new year your year, I literally listed out like 50 plus ideas on like what to do with other people or like what to do by yourself, or like hobbies and stuff to do. So highly recommend that. So yeah, I just feel like those are like the best things you can do. And best thing to do is honestly just like take it day by day, and as long as you're doing something every single day consistently and you're like developing better habits and you're trying to better yourself, that's all you can do. Like again, there's only 24 hours in a day, like utilize them, but like don't be so hard on yourself because there's always tomorrow. Like as long as you're putting in your all, and like also realize quality over quantity any day. I think this is like my biggest life motto. Like I have said this so many times, and I say this to literally everyone, that like I would rather have one good friend or one good person in my life than have 1,000 fake people in my life. Like that applies to me when it comes to friends, and also when it comes to the amount of work that I'm putting in. I'd rather put in quality work over quantity work. Like I'd rather have something that's just a little bit and it's really good quality than have just a bunch of things going on and the quality's bad. So like for example, my YouTube videos, I would much rather take my time editing for hours and hours if that means that the quality of my videos are good, rather than if I'm just editing in like 5 minutes and then like I'm just posting every single day. And I think that's why I haven't been posting as much, because I kind of want to focus on the quality, but I like want to kind of reinvent my YouTube channel and my podcast and kind of really work on creating good quality content rather than just like shooting content out that's useless. But I'm still working on all that. There's just so much that I can do. But yeah, that's basically it. Like if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. And if you guys are dealing with anything, just know that you're not alone. There's definitely someone that is going through the same thing or like some form of the same thing as you. And just know that you can always reach out. If you guys want to reach out to me, my DMs are always open. And you can comment on this podcast as well. If you're listening on Spotify, you can comment on there. If you're listening on YouTube, my comments are always open. This is a free, open community, and I love to get to know you guys even more in the comments. You guys can ask me any questions, and I will like always respond to you guys. I always respond to my comments, or like at least try to. But yeah, I just want to have like a really positive community, and I want this to be a very like safe space where like anyone can share anything and not feel judged, you know, because that's something that I've always wanted to feel, and that's what I'm trying to be for you guys. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna conclude this episode. Thank you so much for watching or listening if you're listening to this. But yeah, I hope this kind of helped. I know it wasn't like super detailed and like super in depth, but I really hope it kind of helped. Even if it helped one person, my day will be made. So yeah. Anyways, I will see you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.